we are going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, December 31st. It's been a long trip already. Line up to get through, and just, yeah, everything. Flight delayed.
Say it, Lucy.
Of course.
Cabo, here we come.
For our week in Cabo, we stayed at an Airbnb. It was a really nice condo that we stayed in that had a nice kitchenette, dining room table, a bedroom for the girls, and a bathroom for them. Here we had a nice living room, which then overlooked the outdoors. You can kind of see the ocean or the mountains in the distance. The actual ocean was about 500 meters from the condo unit itself. Then we had a master bedroom. It was a really nice place to be at for the week. Upstairs we had a pool on the roof that then overlooked the ocean in the distance.
One of the first beaches we visited was Santa Maria. It was a beautiful beach, quieter little cove with great snorkeling, and we really enjoyed our morning there. The next beach we visited was Chileno Beach that afternoon, just for a change of pace. Very similar, but busier and not as nice snorkeling.
The next day we got up bright and early to start our day off with a hike with some dogs. There's this really cool dog training center that's there and he offers to take you up for free, and you hike with him and his dogs up to this lookout point, which is wonderful to be able to look out over not only the town but also all across the ocean. It had some great views.
That was a hike.
It was tough. It was steep. Then it got really steep, then it got very steep, kind of rocky, a little bit slippy. It's good to be up here.
We were also lucky enough that day to be able to look out and see that there were these whales, 2 of them that were just jumping out of the water, and they made quite the show.
We didn't
even need to pay for a whale tour.
It was amazing to watch though the boats. Once the whales jumped out of the water, the boats came and surrounded the whales.
After the long hike up, the long hike down was almost just as hard.
That afternoon, we took a walk down to the Marina, and it was amazing to see all the water taxis coming into port from going to look at the Cabo Arc. After that, we walked down to Marina Beach, and both me and Lucy got our hair braided by one of the vendors.
Today is Tuesday, January 3rd.
Yep.
Heading into Santa Rita Hot Springs. A little bit of a off-the-grid adventure. We've traveled about an hour out of town, and now we're on the dirt road into the hot spring.
Once we arrived, it was a short walk up to the river and to where the hot springs were. This area also had a bit of a campground for areas to cook your meals and eat them.
The Santa Rita Hot Springs were a lot more than just the hot springs. The actual hot pools were kind of small, and we were just as happy to hike around with all the cooler pools up the stream. There were all kinds of different waterfalls and these big rocks that we were able to climb over and get a whole bunch of different views.
What made it so nice was that when we first got there was nobody else there, and we could just explore and have the place to ourselves.
Going on an adventure. We're swimming up to the waterfall. We've got Alice, who's left me behind. All the way up front there. Ooh, there's seaweed. I don't like the seaweed. Pretty deep?
There's a snake! That was a very traumatic experience.
There were multiple waterfalls that were very enjoyable to swim around and sit in.
Just stepped into the hot pool or hot springs, and it's pretty warm. How is it, Am?
It's nice and hot. Yeah. It's busy though. Shallow. Good though.
The actual hot springs just came from a little river flowing out of the rock. On the way, we had passed the Tropic of Cancer.
Going on our boat tour this morning. Later in the week, we took a boat taxi kind of across the bay to see some of the different rock formations. One of them was Pelican Rock. Then we got to see Lover's Beach, which is on the Sea of Cortez. And then we finally got to see the famous Arc. This is only visible by boat, and so it was a real treat to finally see it. We came back to Lover's Beach, which was kind of small and busy, but if you cut through the rock formations, you get to the other side, which is ironically called Divorce Beach. This is on the Pacific coast, and it's extremely dangerous undercurrents and riptides there, so you're not allowed to swim there, but it was a very beautiful beach and not many people on it.
The rock formations were really interesting. You could see where the wind and sand has eroded the mountains with these different holes, and also it looked like the ground had folded in certain areas. We went and explored a cave. Captain Jack Sparrow back here.
No things to open.
Is that the end?
That is the end. It's dinner.
It's not a little world tour video without me doing some kind of flip on the beach.
What's going on? Don't drown her! Lucy!
One of the nights we went out for dinner to one of the restaurants on the beach, and one of the things it was known for were their big drinks, and it was just an overall fun night and really enjoyable.
The food was amazing with all of its unique and different parts to it. The atmosphere was just a ton of fun. There was blankets on the back of the chairs that we could snuggle up with as the evening got cooler.
One of our last days there, we got to walk some dogs again. We drove to the Humane Society and were able to volunteer and took these 4 dogs out for a little walk around their back hike.
Here's the Energizer Taco down here. Hey Lucy, does your dog know any tricks? Need a dog shake a paw or sit? Let's try.
They don't speak English, Dad. No, they don't.
Sit. Sit.
It's true.
Sit.
Even if you push in their bum.
Can you sit?
Lucy and I went on a food tour. It was about 3 hours long, and we visited 8 different areas or places. Some of them were established restaurants, others were little food stands or food trucks on the side of the road. One of the highlights was the frozen fresh fruit popsicles, and we ended with a tequila tasting and churros.
While Amber and Lucy were on the food tour, Alice and I went to Senior Frogs. One evening, we drove to the town of San Jose to do what they called the Art Walk. This is a street that has a number of different art galleries. One of them was very unique, with a number of interactive art displays. This one even played music when 2 people held hands.
We finished that night off with dinner on the street, which was a taco in a bag.
Although we were in Mexico, we still kept connected to the World Juniors hockey game and watched Canada win gold.
All too soon, it was time to board the plane and return home.